Hello, and welcome to this brief Vinyasa flow. Whether you need a quick warm-up, a gentle morning flow, or some breath work with mobility, this sequence has you covered. So let's begin. In child's pose, bring your toes together, knees wide, walk your hands down toward the front of the mat. Bring your head down to the mat. I'm going to raise mine a little bit so you can hear my voice. Exhale as you walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, maybe just outside of the mat. Allow your left hand to rest on top of your right hand. Left hip pulls back. Push into the ground with the left hand. Walk the hands through the center, head remains facing down, and then off to the left side, just outside of the mat. Right hand rests either on top of the left or nearly on top of the left, presses into the ground, right hip pulls back, lengthen from right pinky to right sit bone, all the way down the right side of the ribs. Walk the hands back through the center and then walk your way up to a tabletop. Hips over knees, shoulders over wrists, fingers pointed forward, and then begin in cat and cow. So as you inhale, the belly comes down, collarbone comes forward and through, eyes and chin comes forward. As you exhale, push into the mat, round the back, tuck chin to chest, and hips come underneath of you. Moving with your own breath, inhale as you come forward, pulling the collarbone through and taking the shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling as you're pushing, rounding the back, shoulder blades spread, tailbone tucks underneath of you. Moving at your own pace and with your own breath, feeling into your body, and beginning to notice any sensations that might be feeling tight, uncomfortable to you as you breathe, exhaling, rounding, and inhaling, pulling forward. And now find a flat spine. Go ahead and tuck your toes for a little bit of stability. It'll help with the balancing. Now we're going to be balancing a little bit and pulling in the core. So pull the ribs back toward the spine. Tuck the pelvis under. In a true tabletop, extend your right arm long by your ear and then extend your left leg back. Toes pointed down. Find your balance. Pull everything to the midline. So that means hug your right hip and left hip into the center. Take a deep breath as you reach and inhale. And exhale, cross the body, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cross. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cross. Inhale, lengthen, and hold. Place the hand down on the mat and then bend the knee of the extended leg and bring the foot between your hands. Come to the fingertips. Bring the arms up. Tuck the hips underneath of you as you reach. Gaze is forward. Exhale as you bring the hands down. Left knee comes back underneath of you in a tabletop position. And now we go to the other side. So left arm comes long by the ear. Right foot goes back. Toes pointed down. Find your midline. And pulling your ribs back. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, cross the body. Elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cross. across. Inhale, lengthen and hold. Bring the hand down to the mat and then bend the knee of the extended leg and bring it between your hands. Come up onto the fingertips and bring the hands straight up. Tuck the hips. Feel the lengthening of the front of the left thigh as you sink while you reach with your fingers. Bring the hands down. Knees come back underneath of you, and then go ahead and take the hips in a circle, warming up the hips. Feel what it's like to take it around one direction and then the other. Maybe untuck the toes, big wide circles. Notice where you have any sticky spots, anything that might feel uncomfortable to you. And then settle in the middle, but go ahead and bring your knees together, tuck your toes, and press back. Extend your hands way forward and drop your head toward the mat. I'm going to leave my head up here so I can look at you. This is going to be a movement where as you inhale, you come up. So your feet are tucked. You're pushing into your hands though first. Let's stay here for a moment. Push into the hands. And now what we'll do is we'll bring our feet together, tuck the toes, bring the knees together as well, and push back like you're coming into a child's pose with your toes tucked, the bottoms of your feet completely exposed and stretching out all of the tissue and muscles underneath there. And as you can see, I'm kind of at a high diagonal here. Let's go ahead and walk the hands down all the way down on the mat. Bring your chest to your thighs and drop your head down to the mat. I'm going to lift my head so you can hear me a little bit, but walk your hands, continue to walk your fingertips forward as far as you can, like you're trying to stretch out the length of your arms from the armpit area. Still pushing down on the toes and bringing the hips over the heels. And now on your next in-breath, come up through your tabletop toward a plank on the knees. Untuck the toes, place the feet on the mat, rotate the biceps forward, and then place the hips down. As you exhale, push into the mat, tuck the toes, bring the hips back, chest comes to thighs. And we'll flow through that 2 more times. As you inhale, come up forward, rotate the biceps forward, untuck the toes, gently lay the hips down. Notice how I pulled the shoulders away from the ears, very important. Exhale, push, tuck the toes, round the back, and then really extend the fingertips forward so you can get the length in the arms. Inhale as you come up, forward, untuck, gently lay the hips down, pull the shoulders away from the ears, and then we'll bend the elbows to come all the way down. Light on the fingertips as you inhale, come back up, chin, chest, eyes, all forward. Exhale down. Push into the mat, come up to the cobra that feels inviting for you. It may not be this high, it may be higher. Exhale down. And now take your fingertips, kind of like you have spider fingers for your fingertips, and just place them outside the mat. You can't really see where I'm placing them, but they are outside of the mat. You can see on this side. I'll move my block out of the way. Fingertips on the mat, and elbows are at 90 degrees. And then push into the ground with your fingertips and come up. Still like a cobra, dipping into the shoulders, one at a time. Maybe moving through in a graceful motion, or perhaps just dipping and discovering. what feels good to you in your dancing cobra. And exhale down. Let's bring the hands back to the mat, tuck the toes, bring the hips over the heels, and then lift up to your first downward facing dog. In your first downward facing dog, take a moment to settle into this pose, really exploring the length of the back of your thighs and your calves, perhaps pedaling your feet, bending into one knee at a time as you push equally into your hands. Weight is on the thumb side of the hand. Knuckles are equally distributing pressure, biceps rotating forward. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bend your knees, begin to walk toward the front of the mat, remaining folded. Let's stay here, and we'll stay folded like a rag doll. You can clasp opposite elbows. You can sway from side to side. When you're ready, gently release your hands to the mat, and we'll slowly start to roll up. And this is where you get to take your own sweet time. Press your feet into the mat, gently bend your knees, let your arms hang, let your head hang, and slowly come to standing. Tilting the pelvis, and one vertebrae at a time, rolling up to standing. Thank you for joining me today in this short but sweet warm-up practice. You can rest here and move along onto a meditation to cool the mind and the body down, or you can break up your day by coming back at another time to enjoy either a yoga or meditation practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.